Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Keto. And today's guest is Devon Balta. Devon is a Primal Health Coach, and she provides faith-based nutrition and lifestyle strategies to women over 40 who feel a loss of control as they suffer from age-related weight gain and hormonal imbalances. But enough from me, let's go say hi to Devon.
Welcome to the Be Well, Be Keto podcast, where we showcase ordinary people who have achieved extraordinary results. Your host is the high energy girl, health coach, and personal trainer, Tracy Gluhite.
Create whole body wellness, a powerful new advancement in energy medicine. Increase your energy, empower your life. I am super excited to announce that I am now a bioenergetics practitioner. And many people are like, well, what is bioenergetics? So imagine that our body is controlled by our energy field, and these fields get distortions and blockages, which create physical and emotional symptoms. So how do we get energy blockages? From stress, toxins, EMFs, emotional traumas, physical scars, and physical traumas. All you need to do is decode the human body field to get to the root cause and restore your energy for life. For more information, head on over to the blog at highenergygirl.com/bioenergetics with an X. That's BIOENERGETIX, and heal your energy for life. Have you joined the Facebook group yet? I have a new Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and that is pretty much where I'm hanging out these days, and I would love to have you a part of the group. So head on over to High Energy Girls on Facebook. Hey, Devon, thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey, Tracy, how are you?
I am happy and looking forward to some sunshine.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
I know, it's crazy. The winter seems like it's been lasting forever. So
it's just around the corner, that spring.
I know, and it's so exciting. Like seriously, one of my favorite days of the year is on Sunday for daylight savings.
Oh, you know what? I didn't know that it was daylight savings until someone brought it up today. Totally didn't see it coming. Winter solstice and daylight savings are two of my favorite days. Winter solstice because I know that it's going to start getting lighter, and daylight savings because I know it's going to dramatically get lighter, and I just love that. So yeah, that's good. That's good. So hey, every day is closer to spring, right?
Yay! Totally cool. Hey, so Devon, tell the listeners a little bit about you and just for people who don't yet know you.
Well, I am a happily married pastor's wife of almost 30 years. I am 47 years old. I have 3 adult children, and they're almost out of the house. 2 of them are out of the house, and one is just about, she's making plans to leave. And my husband is a pastor. We've been at the same church for 25 years. So we've been serving in full-time ministry for that long. And so
that's awesome.
That's a little bit about me.
So, okay, I'm doing the math really quick here. So did you get married when you were 18?
Yeah, I got married when I was 19. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. And we've been married. What's funny is he's just a little older than me. He's 11 years older. We met in Bible college. So he was on his third year program, and he was about to graduate, and I was on my first year. So we got married, and nice. Then the rest is history. Yeah.
And when's your anniversary?
Don't tell him I told you that. July 28th. July 28th.
And it will be 30 years?
It'll be 19 years. Yeah, 19 years. No, 29 years. I'm sorry. 29 years. Wow.
We just had our 29th in February.
Oh, wow. So we have a lot in common then.
I know. It's so fun.
That is crazy. That is so good.
Yeah. It's like, because a lot of people don't make it that far anymore,
Yeah, and that's a shame. That makes me very sad. So, but it's a lot of hard work, so, you have to keep up with it, and you have to put your marriage as a priority. So.
Absolutely. And I have to say that it hasn't been hard. To me, it's just an agreement that, well, for us, I mean, we've, survived the lumps and bumps of life and all of the things that go with raising 3 kids and all that, but just trying to be committed to staying on the same page and, with the same future goals in mind. I mean, I've just been fortunate. It has not been that hard to be married to this man.
So. Oh, yeah. Well, that's always a blessing. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me, what brought you to keto?
Oh, do I start from the very beginning or?
Girl, you start wherever you want.
Okay. Well, I've had a rocky relationship with food really all my life. So I'd say when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I was that skinny girl who I was just very awkward. And I think that one time I went to the doctors and I heard them say anorexia. Now, we didn't have social media back then. We didn't have really, magazines and crazy things that, that we would be influenced by. But for some reason, I knew what anorexia was. And just hearing that made me very curious about having anorexia, even though the doctor just mentioned it because I was so skinny. I was naturally skinny, but I don't know, it just planted a little seed. And then when I started gaining weight at about 13 years old, I came home one day. Anorexia was just too hard for me. I didn't like starving. So I knew I needed to lose some kind of weight. So I happened to watch an ABC after school special. Do you remember those after school specials?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And they were great. They'd be once a month on TV, and we'd look forward to seeing them and watching them on our black and white TV or whatever, And there was one on the risks of bulimia. And they didn't paint it to be a good story. However, when I watched it, I was extremely influenced by that one show. And so all the things they told you not to do and the dangers not to do, I adapted into my life or adopted in my life, and I practiced to them. And it was a miserable experience. I'd say I had an eating disorder from that point until I was probably, full-fledged bulimia up to 18 years old. And I did everything from the binging, the purging, to taking almost 60 laxatives a day. It was a lonely experience. It was just pretty heartbreaking. So when I was about 18, I knew that was an unhealthy just system to do on my body. And I ironically wasn't losing any weight. In fact, I was very swollen. My face was very bloated. I was probably 20, almost 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And so it really didn't benefit me at all. But I guess I felt like I was in control. I don't know how that even makes sense, but that's what I guess I thought at the time. And then, so when I stopped that behavior, I needed to actually substitute a different behavior. So that behavior was becoming a vegan for about 2 years before vegans were even a thing. And I was a vegan, but this was my vegan. I ate frozen vegetables, which were like the carrots, the peas, and the corn, that bag of frozen vegetables. I eat a bag or 2 of those a day, peanuts, and baked potatoes. So that was my diet for like 2 years. In fact, I ate so many carrots that my skin turned orange, like the underneath of my skin, my arms. And so between eating carrots and having really bad 80s hair, being heavy, and having like a fake orange tan anyway from that like self-tanning lotion, I looked kind of like a mess. So, oh man. Okay, so anyway, when I got to college, I was so afraid of that freshman 15, and I knew I couldn't gain any more weight that I finally started to do the calorie restriction, calorie counting strategy with the chronic exercise. And that did work. And in fact, that worked pretty successfully for about 20 years. Now, people would see me and say, oh, she's so healthy. And I would think I was the same way too. However, it got harder and harder for me to maintain my weight. Mm-hmm. This strategy. It worked for like 10 years. I'd say it worked through my childbirthing years and all that. And I was, busy with the kids and running around. But then I would say at 40 years old, like all my older peers would tell me, oh, just wait until you're 40. I started keeping the weight on, and I couldn't get it off, and I couldn't restrict enough calories for it to make a difference. And it got frustrating because everyone always said that this is what works, and it's always worked for me. So started getting the muffin top. Started, getting, losing weight in my legs and my arms, but gaining it just around the middle. And the scale really wasn't budging. It wasn't like I was gaining a lot of extra weight. It was sitting right in the middle. Then I also had other health issues that started happening that I kind of attributed to age. So I started feeling older, started looking a little older. I had restless leg syndrome, brain fog. My hair was kind of thinning. I was anxious, a little unmotivated, cranky. Just the things that you kind of over the years just say, oh, my mom was cranky, or, so-and-so's cranky and she's older or whatever. And you just kind of, I don't know, you just kind of fall into that. It's just, that's the reason. And so besides not being able to lose weight, another symptom that I started getting was cystic acne. And this acne was so painful. And it came about every month, but it was huge. And, it just came out of nowhere. Like in the middle of the night, I could feel my acne coming on. And I'd only get 1 or 2 pimples, but they were huge, painful, and they take weeks to go away. So I started combing the internet, and I came across a lot of solutions for my acne, which required a lot of taking things out of the diet, like eliminating things from my diet. And it just seemed too hard. It was easier for me to spend a lot of money on creams that didn't work, unfortunately, and to try to do a whole lot of quick solutions. And as I spent more money and more time just ignoring the elimination diet theories, I just started getting more and more frustrated with things not working. So finally, after, I think what I did was I happened to watch The Magic Pill. And have you seen the movie The Magic Pill?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I watched The Magic Pill, and all of a sudden it clicked. It was like I read so many times from so many different people, eliminate grains, eliminate dairy, or eliminate sugar. And for some reason, it was always easy for me to eliminate one, but I couldn't seem to eliminate all the things I should eliminate. So with that movie explaining things, just that one extra time and just a little more thoroughly, and especially with the testimonies on that show, I decided to try this ketogenic diet. And it was, Tracy, it was the scariest thing for someone who is very fat phobic. I didn't want to get fat. I have a very small frame. I'm like 5 foot tall, and I'm pretty small. And it was just scary for me to eat fat. And I just thought, oh, I'm going to just be an Oompa Loompa or something. And so,
well, and plus we were raised, I mean, like what you were saying earlier about the stuff you were eating, we were raised to not eat fat. I used to eat, so check this out. When I was in college, my diet, I used to eat baked potatoes with a can of tuna on it and rice wine vinegar as like the flavor or the seasoning. That was it.
Yeah, no butter, everything dry, chicken breast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did for the 20 years. I had the low fat, high carb diet. And I thought, and definitely a fruit salad at every meal. And I thought that was very healthy, And I was also fell victim for those 20 years, even before that, of the fat-free and the low-calorie items. So honestly, growing up in the 80s, we had diet soda. My parents loved diet soda. And so we drank that even more than water. So this whole thing of eating real food was kind of like crazy, eating the saturated fat. But I don't know, the movie must have just made something click in my mind. And I just started it. And now I had been experimenting, and because I was doing so many different self-experiments on myself trying to get rid of this acne, I had at that time eliminated refined sugar. I had gone years without eating refined sugar, different points of my life, and different points in my life just getting rid of gluten. But I never did all three at once. And when I am talking about all three, I'm talking about the unhealthy fats, the sugar, all types of sugar, including maple syrup and including honey and all that, and all grains. And so I've never taken all three out at the same time. And so when I did, I was, of course, looking to lose that belly fat. But actually, the first thing that changed for me was a clarity of my thinking. I had brain fog that I didn't know I even had. And I literally, within 3 days, I just saw things clearer and sharper. And I was just thinking a whole lot better. And it was a problem that was solved that I didn't even needed solving. So that was the first thing that happened for me. And then I started, my mood leveled out. I started sleeping better. I realized that I was anxious over the past few years when I got into the car, and I couldn't really go many places without kind of freaking out. And it was something that happened so gradually that I didn't even know it was a problem, except for it was causing stress in my marriage because I was just yelling at my husband, like, don't hit the guardrail, don't hit the car, don't hit. And after I was on this keto way of eating for about 2 months, my daughter, who had just gotten her license, had said, hey, Mom, I want to drive to the city, and you can be the passenger type thing. And I did not want to do this. She had her license, but I usually, would kind of go, no, I don't think it's a good idea. But I just said, okay. And I sat in the passenger seat, and she didn't know how to do traffic circles, and we had to go through 4. And normally, now, of course, as a mom, I had my air brake on and I am pumping the floor, but I wasn't tense. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't like literally freaking out like I had been. And it was then when I realized that this way of eating really helped my anxiety, because I really was having a problem being in the car. And man, if that's not a test right there, it wasn't a bad experience. And normally, even with my husband being an experienced driver, and he's a good driver, I don't know why I was freaking out so much. But anyway, so my anxiety lessened. And after probably about 6 months, I'm still working on it, the acne really improved a lot. So some of these things take time. So I encourage my folks to stay on this plan. It's a lifestyle change, and you're not going to just go on it for 20 days and then all of a sudden all your symptoms are gone and you can just kind of go on your merry way and go back to all that junk you were eating. You'll get the symptoms back. It takes time for your body to heal. So that's my story about keto. And the thing is that this diet, and I had been on many diets throughout my life, this way of life literally changed my life so much that I decided about 3 months later to invest in a certification program with the Primal Health Institute, and I became a certified health coach. And I'm just passionate about helping other people and serving them just to get out of this way of life. It's really,
Now, how long ago was that? You said you saw the miracle pill, but that hasn't been out too long. So how long ago was that?
I watched that last spring. So it's been about a year. Okay. So truly being keto, I've been keto probably since May of last year. And so everything's coming around full circle. Like, I am seeing all the results that I desire to have are finally kicking in with very, very little effort. Tweaking. There's always tweaking, it's not a one size fits all necessarily. So yeah, so I change things up. I try new things to see how things work, but it's definitely keto based for sure.
So what kinds of things do you change up? Like, what is the new things that you try? That's like, I want to kind of get deeper into all that.
Well, I think one of the traps that I did fall into when I first started was making sure I tried everything. So if I heard a podcast that said intermittent fasting, I would make sure I did that. If it said one meal a day, I would do that. If it said bulletproof coffee, I'd make sure I had that. If it said take this vitamin supplement, I would make sure I had that. I was doing so much at once. I think that I wouldn't recommend people doing it. I think that I would not try to fit every requirement possible into your schedule all at once. I think it's a process. And so right now what I do is, just about 2 months ago, I said, you know what? I like fasting. And I did do a 3-day fast. I think was the longest. It was so liberating. It was a really neat thing. But because of my past eating disorders and just my past control issues, I have to kind of relax a little. Mm-hmm. And so with the intermittent fasting, I eat. I don't really eat breakfast, but I do have kind of a caloric. It's not just fat. It has some collagen in it and some chia seeds in it, but it's like a beverage that I drink in the morning that I make. So before, I wasn't having anything. I'd have just butter coffee, and then I wouldn't eat until 5. But wasn't hungry.
Right.
Right. But then I tended to eat too much. Like I have to realize that in my personal system, I need at least like a half an hour to 40 minutes after I eat for my my leptin signals to like go off and say you're full. Otherwise, because I am truly full after about 30, 40 minutes after I eat. But I could still, when I was doing the 1 meal a day or even 2 meals, I would just eat until I was full, but I just keep on eating. And it was too much eating, so everyone's different, but it takes time to figure all that out. That's what I mean by tweaking,
And we all have different ways that we can handle like different foods as well. Because earlier you were saying, like, how many carbs are you eating a day?
Well, at first, so I generally find my carbs I don't believe in measuring the macros just because I want to get away from all tracking. I personally, myself, because I know keto can be very successful if you just know what you're eating and kind of a general idea of how much, and I really stay away from carbs. I eat vegetables would be where you'd find my carbs.
Okay.
And I don't eat potatoes. I don't eat sweet potatoes. So nuts would be where you would find the carbs. So if I ate some cashews or almonds, that's where you're finding most of my carbs. So I'm pretty much staying under 50, I think.
Mm-hmm. Probably at least.
I don't know how many vegetables. Yeah. So, but I sometimes I just, my chocolate will probably add some carbs in there, but I do eat the dark chocolate on occasion. So,
which one do you like?
Anyway, endangered species. I got a whole case of that. I do like that. It's like 86% dark chocolate. Sometimes I can get up to 90.
Yeah,
do you have a favorite?
I like Lily's just because it doesn't have any sugar added.
Yeah, that's my only one. I did use Lily's for my cookies, and that's another thing. At first, when I started keto, I did need some sweet substitutes. And plus I was trying to get my family on board. So I would use a lot of the, erythritol and different sweeteners to help, get them along through this journey. And I realized myself that I just don't like any of those cookies and fat bombs anymore. I prefer to just eat a piece of meat, honestly. So.
Yeah, I think really, I was just talking to these guys earlier today about this. I think that we as humans, and especially in our country, need to change our palate to stop wanting the sweet stuff. And I do believe that fasting, like I just did a 3-day fast, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I felt amazing. To me, I'm really good at, like, if I say, okay, I'm going to fast for 3 days, I can handle that. What's harder for me is to be moderate with certain things. Okay. I'm an extremist, I guess. Like I could go, like I love wine. I live in wine country. Like seriously, I have a winery right in front of our house and there's another one right behind us. And I went 30 days without wine, no problem. Like I can do that type of stuff, but it's more like I can't eat nuts because I can't be moderate with nuts.
Yeah, well, that's why I had to stop eating peanuts because I know that that's kind of like a gray area. But I stopped eating them because number one, I couldn't stop. Number two, I was kind of replacing them I was replacing healthy earth choices with the nuts. And then I was eating the peanut butter as well. And it just was, I think it's like a compulsive thing. Sometimes it's just a choice that you have to be very intentional no matter what, and at least taking out the sugar and the grains, it does help with some of the addiction, obviously to your food choices. But sometimes it's just, some behavioral things that you have to change and you just have to work at it. It's not easy, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Right. I know. I totally understand all that stuff. So what are some of your favorite meals that you eat?
Well, you know what? I just got this Instant Pot. Do you have an Instant Pot?
Yes, and I suck at it.
I mean, I do too. I tell you, I couldn't master the hard-boiled eggs for some reason. They just kept getting too, I don't know, they weren't cooked all the way. I think I really want it to be almost like a microwave pot. That's why I'm thinking it's instant, but it really is. They should have named it differently. My expectations are way too high for this pot that I have. But my favorite one, now I have recently laid off the dairy as well because I'm really trying to figure out why I have my breakouts that I do. They're not as bad, but it could be dairy could have been one of the culprits. I'm not sure yet, but on a good day, my husband's a hunter, so we have venison, and so I'll put venison in that Instant Pot with some onion and garlic, and I will put slices of pepperoni in it and some tomato sauce, not a lot. I don't know how, so that would have some carbs in it, but some tomato, like it's actually crushed tomato. There's nothing in it but the tomato itself, and put some mozzarella cheese in there. It tastes like a lasagna. You can layer it. I don't bother layering it. I just stick it all in the pot, and it tastes like a pizza.
Oh my God. Really okay, girl, I want that recipe. Please send it to me so we can use it for our show notes page.
I'll write it down right now, and I'll give it to you. Yeah. Because I've tried to make it since without the pepperoni. The pepperoni is the game changer. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's that flavor. And if you use venison, you do have to add extra fat. So I'll add lard, but because it's just so lean. Venison is just so absolutely lean. So, but if I were making it with the hamburger, I would use the 1585 or 2080 or whatever hamburger you have, and just throw it in there. Really easy. Sometimes I'll add spinach to it too. I'll just add like tons of just vegetables and stuff. It's just a stew, like a pizza stew.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Doesn't sound like a good title, pizza stew, but it's in my head it's really good anyway.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to come up with a different name, but we can do that. Yeah. So
you make it. I'll give you the recipe. You tweak it, and then you put it on your, in your arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah,
that'll be good. We'll do that. So let me ask you this: so what are your favorite health benefits that you have, felt on the keto diet?
Well, I want to say that the first month or two. Now, because I'm so small, people have always thought I looked a lot younger than I am. Okay. So I've had that benefit. And I'm married to someone who's 11 years older who is now gray. So I definitely look a lot younger anyway. However, the first couple months, people were just saying, you're glowing. They saw just a different, just a clarity, I guess. I can't even explain it. I personally didn't see a whole lot of difference, like myself. But I felt, what, Tracy? I felt within a week, I felt a better relationship with food. I was confident in what I was eating. I did not count any macros, any calories. I was mindful of what I ate, but I was happy. I think for the first time, I think that is really the big difference with all those years behind me, that my relationship with food was finally reconciled. And like we're working together now versus me fighting what was healthy and me trying to run the show. And it's not how we were designed. I mean, we were designed a certain way to repair ourselves and to be healthy. I mean, God doesn't make junk, and so it's just awesome how I'm finally experiencing what God's intended all along. So really, really, I think that would be my first, my mood, my relationship with food. It took a while for me because I didn't have a lot of weight to lose. It was just this insidious 5 pounds, probably like that pregnant pooch. Because I'm so small, there was a time where I even thought I was like 5 months pregnant. I was like, what is this? And it's not coming off. It was freaking me out. And it was like years of that. And I think it was the grains. Mm-hmm. I think it was the grains and stuff. So it's a slower process, you know. Some of this stuff is not gonna, because I didn't have a lot to lose. Now, if you had a lot of weight to lose, you're gonna see a lot of results coming off really quickly. But when you know, I'd say the weight was great, but the health benefits for me definitely outweighed the weight loss, because that's, you know, that was secondary, especially now. I'm just so happy I would do it. I'm going to keep doing it, obviously, for the rest of my life.
And you said your skin is starting to clear up.
Yeah, it is. Except for I do have a zit right now, so I'm so glad this isn't on video. But I think it's just sometimes it takes like 3 months for things to work out. So if I ate something like 3 months ago, sometimes it takes that long to move through your system. So some of this stuff, you know, I'm just still detoxing. But what is good is that it's not as big, it's not as painful, it's not as deep. And a lot of my scarring, you know, I never even had scarring when I was a teenager or anything. And when I was 40, I had these zits that I never got, like this acne right on my cheeks. It was deep. It was little. It was weird. And that scarred. I didn't touch it. It just scarred. And that's starting to heal. So it's been a year, but that scarring starting to go away. And I'm looking a lot more youthful, actually. So yeah.
Oh, good. That's really good. All of it is good. I mean, I'm here. I can't imagine stopping the way I'm eating, because it's been, 3 years, and I feel like it's just going to keep continuing,
Oh yeah, the benefit, certainly. And you know what is cool though? I used to be in high school. This is like the only thing I was good at was sun tanning. I could tan like nobody's business. I would just lay on the beach and like I could just soak up that sun. And then when I was older, my husband really, didn't like me being so dark all the time. I was like, that's not healthy. And so I stopped for a while. And then, so this year, not being on any processed foods, grains, no sugar, I went on the beach. My parents own a beach house in Ocean City, New Jersey. And I just was on the beach for a day, and I didn't use any sunscreen because I was just trying a little experiment with seeing if, some people say, you really don't want your skin, you're on the ketogenic diet, your skin just is healthier and you don't burn as easily or whatever. So I just did a little experiment, and I didn't use any sunscreen. And lately, the past like few years, I've been burning like around my bikini line or my chest. And this time I was in the sun all day and no burn. It was crazy. Now, the next day I added a little bit just in case, but honestly, I just, I think my skin's just that much more healthy too.
That's cool.
Have you heard that?
No, I haven't.
I've heard like Dr. Barry. Oh, do you know Dr. Barry?
No.
Dr. Ken Berry? Okay. Oh, catch one of his podcasts. He's really good. But Dr. Ken Berry, I believe he said something like that about the sun. He used to get burned all the time, and now he can go out in the sun for, half an hour at a time, and he doesn't get burned. So yeah, interesting.
So I'm Italian, so that has never been an issue for me, to be honest. So
see, I used to always get a tan, but I had to go through the burning process first. I mean, you have to get the first layer of burn down and then the suntan. And this time my skin wasn't burning. Like I could go out and garden in the summer and not worry about my shoulders burning or anything. Not that I'm abusing it, of course. I'm not like, staying on the beach days and days without any protection or shade. But it was just that one time where I was on the beach for just, I think, like 3 hours or 2 or 3 hours and no burn. And I was like, wow, this is great. And it was intense sun. So, yeah, I think that, they didn't have sunscreen back in the day, Our ancestors didn't go around slathering it up.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Honestly, the crap that they put in sunscreen is way worse than the yeah.
So that's why that's why I'm like, I just don't like using the sunscreen. I don't like using the lotions and stuff like that. And so I really wanted to try it. And my skin was protected. So it was cool. Now, do I recommend it for someone who's a redhead and Irish? Not necessarily. The lighter the skin, and I think the bluer the eyes, you do have to be careful with the sun.
Yeah.
But you do need your sun every day to get your vitamin D. So that's really important.
Yeah. Yep. I totally believe that. That's awesome. So what was I going to ask you something? So what would you tell somebody that's just starting out on keto?
I would say don't get sucked in by so much information. We're making it a lot more difficult than it really is. And so I would say, if you have a health coach, listen to one person, listen to your health coach, or choose one piece of information, like one information source to get your information from when you start out with, because it's so confusing, and some people just make it so complicated. And so I would say that, just those 3 basic things: get rid of the unhealthy fat, which is the vegetable oil, canola oil, Crisco. I can't believe it's not butter, margarine. Get rid of that. Get rid of all sugars, which would be, sugar, coconut sugar, all the things that even sound healthy, agave syrup, maple syrup, honey, stay away from that. That's high in carbohydrates. And stay away from the grains, all of it, even the brown rice and the white rice. And it's that simple. Just stay away from that and eat meat and vegetables.
Yeah, that's what I say. Make it simple. Just vegetables cooked in some sort of a oil. Like I like them roasted in the oven, and like protein. Yep. That's like, and then a salad that used to be off limits, with like maybe some avocado or some bacon, like a Cobb salad, without the blue cheese.
Yes, that's like my favorite. A Cobb salad with olive oil and some salt, some sea salt on it, and some vinegar or lemon juice. I mean, that used to be off limits. Like, I can't eat that. It has bacon and it has eggs in it.
I know, that's
so
hilarious.
We would put all this fat-free salad dressing on it. Oh. It just totally ruined the poor salad. But that's the go-to. I put pumpkin seeds on it just to add the crunch.
I love pumpkin seeds. The sprouted ones, oh my gosh, those are so good.
Oh, I haven't had. Do you sprout your own, or do you buy them sprouted?
You can buy, I can't remember the brand name, but there's a company that does sprouted pumpkin seeds and sprouted sunflower seeds. And they, at our Costco, they sold them both. So they are like super good. I'm trying to see. Oh, Go Raw.
Huh, okay.
They're called Go Raw sprouted pumpkin seeds. And you know that sprouted nuts are better for you?
Yeah, I heard that. I haven't started doing that yet. But so you sprout them, rinse them, and then roast them. Is that the deal?
Well, you know what? I just buy them.
Oh, good answer. That's
So
so funny.
I do make crazy. I
Oh,
am kind of crazy. So I do things in the kitchen. Like I do sprout broccoli sprouts. I make those with broccoli seed.
oh, okay.
So, and I make my own sauerkraut. So, I mean, I
Oh, I
do,
did too.
yeah. And I saw that you have
Have you done
chickens.
kimchi? Have you done kimchi?
No, because I
Yeah.
don't like kimchi.
Oh, okay. I do, but I heard that it will really stink up your house. So I'm waiting for the summertime so I can put it out in the garage or something.
Open
Or
the
bury
windows.
it or something because it's pretty, strong. But I
Yeah.
like it. It's a good fermented food. That's another thing to put in your on your salad.
Well, I've bought the one, there's a brand and I can't remember. It's like Farmhouse or something. And it is made with some ginger. It's called California Wakame Kimchi, and it's like in the cold box section at the grocery store. And that one has a
Uh-huh.
ginger flavor, so I like it. But as far as like any just standard traditional kimchi, I can't do that.
Huh, ginger, that's curious. I would be yeah, I'd be happy to try something like that. I love ginger.
Yeah, this one's a great kimchi. It's the only one I can eat, and I really, really do like it. So
Oh,
I would highly recommend that.
oh, awesome.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
check it out. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show today, Devon. It's been lovely talking to you.
Oh, it's been awesome, Tracy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I love talking to like-minded women, and if you have chickens, then you just go up a notch in my book.
Well, I have to admit, they are my husband's ladies. He loves these chickens. Like every day is Easter. He like comes back with these eggs, and he's so happy. And yeah, as he goes on his egg hunt.
It's
But
super
yeah, we
cute.
love our chickens. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I got to go out there actually right now and go grab eggs. I didn't do it this morning because it was pouring rain.
Oh, you have some chickens too?
Yeah, we're down to 4. I think the most we ever had is 12, and we need to get some new ones. But we're waiting until spring.
Yeah, my husband's getting he's going to that Tractor Supply company. He's ordering them.
The chickens?
He recycles. He like puts these other chickens, he'll send them to auction, and then he gets new chickens every like 2 years, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, my old ones
So
are still
sometimes
laying
we'll have
eggs.
24. He wants to make sure he has his own system. I cannot explain it. It works, but it's his hobby. As long as we have eggs, I'm happy. So whatever. We might try meat birds. We did try meat birds a few years ago, and I was able to harvest one from start to finish. So um I would like to do that again sometime too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. That is
That
no.
wasn't easy. It was my husband's a meat cutter by trade, so
Oh,
he can do all that. Yeah, so he makes all of our venison sausage and roasts and like he just cut. Yeah, he's awesome meat cutter. Yeah, so
well, that would be
I'm
different.
happy. Yeah.
That's
So
so
yeah, I'm
cool.
so happy. I'm so happy that this diet. Because about 2 years ago, I was trying to convince him to do some kind of vegan diet. The poor guy. Oh my goodness, he loves the keto diet. He loves like, wow, this food actually tastes really good. Yeah, because I'm adding fat to it. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. I agree. I wish my husband would get on it, but whatever. I'm not gonna.
In time. You just keep being that awesome example, Tracy, and then eventually they'll jump on board. Yeah,
Well, I hope
that's what,
so.
you have to live it. You just have to keep living it and just be patient and yep.
Yeah, that'll happen.
No.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
All right, my dear. Well, listen, stay warm while you experience more snow. I hope it all defrosts for you soon, and I will be in touch, my dear.
Oh, thank you very much, Tracy. Have a good one. Be well.
You too, sweetie. Thank you. You too. Be well.
Wow, that was a great chat, and I hope you resonated with a lot of the things that Devon shared with us today. I know I certainly did. And to find Devon on social and connect with her, please head on over to the show notes page at bewellbeketo.com. And if you do us a favor and head on over to iTunes and give us a rating and review, that way more people can find this awesome show. Also, we are always looking for new guests, so if somebody's inspired you with their keto story, or maybe you can inspire others, we would love to have you on the show. So contact me at Tracy with 2 E's at highenergygirl.com. Awesome. Thank you so much, and make it a great day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.